Well, with the warm weather coming, we know that people are going to start coming to the beaches, and we don't want to push our problem off to the side streets and our residents. We'd like to open the beach parking lots. Many weeks ago, we had a selectmen's meeting, and it was voted to restrict the parking at some of the public parking lots for our beaches in order to stop people from congregating and out-of-town people from coming to our beaches, because some of the surrounding beaches were closed. Now that the warmer weather is coming and our neighbors are going to be opening their beaches as well, and the governor announced phase one of reopening. With that came some guidance. Today, there was a memorandum that was sent out from the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs. It was dated today, and it's guidelines on beach usage for beach managers. And there's an extensive 4-page document that explains the best practices for social distancing, disinfecting, cleaning, in regards to opening the beaches. Now, we have not closed our beaches. Our beaches have always remained open, but we did restrict the beach parking. So tonight, I'd like to ask that the Board of Selectmen remove that restriction, allow us to move forward with opening our beaches as we normally would, which would be probably this Friday. We're looking at 80 degrees. So Wrexham and potentially Green Harbor could be open for that weekend. So all beach managers and visitors should adopt specific guidelines outlined below. First and foremost is the DPH orders and guidelines that include face coverings and masks. All beach visitors shall comply with COVID-19 Order 31. Order requires face coverings in public places where social distancing is not possible. And I think we're all aware of the rest of that. Group sizes. No groups larger than 10 are allowed to gather. In regards to coastal and inland beaches, manager and user guidelines for parking and capacity. To allow for adequate social distancing across the beaches, it should be managed to accommodate a minimum of 12-foot distance between toweling and beach blanket groups. Parking lots, people entering the beach, or other factors should be managed if necessary to limit beach capacity to accommodate adequate social distancing based on an assessment by the beach manager. Loading and unloading times for people and personal items at drop-off areas should be limited where possible. No loitering or tailgating. Picnic areas should be closed if social distancing cannot be maintained and sanitation cannot be performed between use. In reference to user guidelines, beach visitors are required to maintain social distancing of at least 6 feet or more at all times, and visitors should maintain at least 12 feet minimum distance between toweling/beach blanket areas. Organized ball games should not be allowed. Activities included, but are not limited to, volleyball, can jam, spike ball, football, soccer, and bocce. Beach visitors shall abide by social distancing standards for bathroom lines and follow any established visual guidelines for maintaining a 6-foot distance in all restroom facilities. A minimum of distance of 6 feet shall be maintained between lifeguards and between the public and lifeguard stands unless in case of an emergency. Admissions/contact. Admission entry transactions are encouraged where possible should be carried out through a no contact process. We're not going to be able to do that for the most part at this point. So if not feasible, hand transactions and cash may be allowed, but they'd be wearing proper PPE equipment. Any necessary visitors/staff interactions, whether in a vehicle or on foot, should be in accordance with social distancing. Restrooms, comfort stations, and showers. Managers should ensure that users can abide by social distancing standards for bathroom lines and follow any established visual guidelines for maintaining a 6-foot distance at all restroom facilities. In advance of the initial opening of public restrooms, the managing entity should adhere to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention guidelines pertaining to the cleaning and disinfection standards for interior spaces, and that social distancing can be maintained. The managing entity should have the facilities cleaned at least once daily by staff and perform deep cleaning and disinfecting services at least once per week, and should follow the EEA COVID-19 outdoor recreation facility restroom cleaning best practices. Restroom facilities should contain adequate hand washing and/or sanitizing stations. Food service shall follow all applicable food service and restroom protocols and guidelines. Food service must be limited to takeout in phase 1. Trash disposal and management. Trash receptacles are available for normal use. Beach managers should provide no-touch, lidless trash cans, which we have. And that's basically the gist of the order, the basics of it. Myself, the beach supervisor Cindy Castro is online, as well as Lieutenant Sullivan, who supervises the entire operation. I know they've been working hard to getting our beaches open as usual already this year, and we'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
So those all those guidelines make complete sense to me. My only question is, how do we enforce them? And I know this really falls heavily on your department because it's under your supervision. So if yourself or Ms. Castro, Lieutenant, want to chime in on that.
Sure. All of our beach employees will be on the lookout for social distancing. And it will start with I'm just getting an echo here, so it's a little difficult to. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that or not.
Yes.
Okay. All of our employees will be aware of social distancing standards and these guidelines, and all of them will report to the beach supervisor any particular violations they find. The lifeguards will walk the beaches. The parking lot attendants will be walking through the parking lots, and then that'll be reported to the beach supervisor, and if need be, the Board of Health and the Marshfield Police will become involved. Typically, we do have beach patrols, officers either on foot that will check in frequently at the beach areas, or we do from time to time have officers on ATVs that will be going up and down the beach.
Again, I make a motion to open beach parking as of tomorrow, consistent with the recommendations and restrictions submitted by Chief Tavares tonight.
I'll second that.
Okay, I'll poll the board. Mr. Bradley,
Aye.
Mr. Rowland,
Aye.
Mr. Kelleher,
Aye.
unanimous.